to essentially peacefully fight against this former vice president that occupies the White House. And that's what he is. He's occupying the White House. He doesn't have the cognitive mental acuity to actually do the proper thing a president should do, not like the last president, Donald Trump, when he was in the office. He actually worked, not like this potato in the office where he actually throws a lid on the day and has to, go into the iron lung and the decompression chamber to, I don't know. This guy, he's out of his damn mind. Biden, who is the former vice president occupying the White House, is out of his goddamn mind. And he's doing everything in his power, or I should say his handlers are doing everything in his power to push stuff in front of him to sign. What am I signing? Oh, okay. Now he wants to tax guns. I don't know how he's going to do this, because I could start at the beginning of his asterisk presidency. But let's go back a little to now, essentially. Now he's saying that he wants to have a $200 tax on, I think, a year on high-capacity magazines and or assault rifles. What's an assault rifle? I don't know what that means. Oh, you mean the ones that were the military owns and they use, not the ones that the civilians can buy, which are not assault. They're modern sporting rifles. But I'd hate to get lost in the weeds of the minutia and the actual definition of these rifles are, because why would you want to do that? But that's the funny thing here. He's taxing essentially poor people, and then people have already started doing videos on this. And I'm sort of behind the curve when it comes to this, because I'm kind of in the process of trying to fill a house full of furniture that's stuck between, South Florida and Ecuador. So getting back to the gun thing. Now, what I suspect he's doing is he's doing a number of things. One of the things he's doing is he's putting out what he can't push through. Basic corporate negotiations. Then they settle on for something they already knew they were going to settle for. And that's what's going on right now. Is they're trying to push through something that's not going to work, but then accept what they can after negotiation. A $200 think about that for a second. Let's say you live in the boondocks and you don't have a firearm to protect yourself and you want to go out and buy one. Great. In my mind, the best thing to own is a AR-15 with a 30-round magazine, and if you're living in the boondocks. Just my opinion. You would also want a shotgun and maybe a handgun. But you live on meager means. Now you're going to have to pay a $200 fee on top of that every single year to own something? Yeah. Like most people, all my firearms, if I had any, I'm not saying I do, but if I did have any, I think they were lost in a lake or a river when I went fishing. Boat capsized and they're all gone. Whoops, sorry. That's if I indeed owned any, in fact. I don't know if I do or not. I'd have to check. Nope, don't have any. Sorry. But coincidentally enough, that's a tax on poor people. Because wealthy people, I'm not saying I'm wealthy, but I have means. I could afford it if I wanted to, but I don't want to. Because what they're trying to do is they're trying to make it almost impossible for you to purchase and own a firearm with any sort of, usefulness to it. Because a 10-round magazine on an AR-15 is kind of useless. And I was in the military. That is why you have 30-round magazines on M16s, M4s, etc. Because, let's put it this way. It doesn't make any sense to walk around a battlefield with 10. And you could say, why do you need it for the civilian use? Because you can. Why arbitrarily neuter the civilian public of telling them, you can't own this, but the police can? Why? Why should the police in the state own a higher capacity magazine than the normal public? Well, that's standard. That's standard reasoning. You'd think, right? They shouldn't. Everyone should have the same. But the state would never do anything to violate your rights. Oh. Yeah, and the police will always be there on time when you need someone to come to your house. Right. Because they're always Johnny on the spot. Right. So until then, when you call the police to help, what are you going to do then? Let the people break into your house? And then obviously, the perpetrators and the criminals are going to turn in their high-capacity magazines and firearms. Only the law-abiding citizens will do that, but oh yeah, that's right. You see, it's just a funny thing. They do recognize it, but they don't. They run with the narrative saying that high-capacity magazines are terrible. Really? Then get 14 low-capacity magazines and put them on your body. You could do the same amount of damage. That's the point. You see, they want to make it almost impossible for you to do it. You see, this is something Cass Sunstein in his book, I forgot what it's called. Basically, it's like choice architecture. And it goes something like this, and I don't do a very good job of it, but bear with me here. Let's say the government doesn't want you to eat red meat anymore. They put a huge tax on red meat, let's say $100 a pound. Oh, you can buy red meat and you can consume it all day long. It's just that's going to cost you $100. So it forces you to purchase something else like chicken or vegetables, if you will. So they just jack the price up on something so it makes it economically unviable to buy, such as firearms. You put a huge tax on it, and of course people aren't going to buy it or can't afford it, and those who can afford it are wealthy or have got CNC machines who can manufacture such items with plans and all that. And that's the whole point here, is that the government isn't necessarily telling you can't buy it. They're making it economically unviable for you to purchase firearms. Or if you're poor, you cannot afford it completely. You have to rely on the police. Let's say you live in the woods and the police are 30 minutes away. What are you going to do? Oh, shit, you're dead. Oh, well, the police will show up when with the crime scene tape and the coroner, and he died 30 minutes ago. Well, it took us 30 minutes to get here. Womp womp. There you go. So you're actually incentivizing criminality here. You're incentivizing criminals to wantonly roam through the neighborhoods. They're going to say, well, it's not going to happen now. It'll happen eventually. You see, this is what the leftists, the communists, the socialists, and authoritarians have done throughout history. Disarm the public. Or in this case, well, you can buy firearms, you just can't afford it. Or, what happens if you don't pay that $200 tax every year? What's going to happen to you? Are they going to, that's right, gun registry. They know what you have. And so they come rolling 40 deep in your house to take your firearms away. Extremely and well against the Second Amendment. But hey, you can use the First Amendment. Oh yeah, Twitter. You can't, and Facebook, you can't talk on there anymore because of reasons. And then Google stops, and AT&T stops your internet access because, See, this is the game they're playing. And with big tech, they're telling you could do anything you want. You just have to pay a tax, or you have to speak the way we determine during terms of service. This is their plan all along, and you should know this by now. And if you don't, you're a dimwit, and you're obviously too dim to understand the nuances of modern life now. This is it, boys and girls. This is it. They're coming for your guns. They've already come for your free speech. They're coming for your guns next, and the Fourth and Fifth Amendment. What about the Third? Don't worry about that. We'll come to that later, because that doesn't really apply yet. But the Fourth and Fifth are soon to be, if not already. If you look at all these First Amendment auditors out there with the police, your Fourth and Fifth Amendment rights are pretty much out the window, because they can just say, hey, we're just going to search your car for our safety. Oh, if it's for our safety, then it's okay. Wait a minute. Don't you need a warrant? No. The dog said we smelled the ganj in your car, so we can search it. Well, that's messed up. Yeah. We live in a messed up society. And a messed up potato running everything. The asterisk president, Potato Biden.